Good morning, cadets. Today we shall learn about reversible and irreversible processes. Reversibility and irreversibility. First of all, let us understand the meaning of reversibility. Imagine a thermodynamic process which starts from initial state A, initial state I, and reaches to final state F. Suppose a thermodynamic process has taken place from state I to final state F. Can it be possible to reverse this from final state F to initial state I without any change, without any effect in any part of the universe? In simple terms, if a thermodynamics process has taken place from initial state I to final state F, can it be completely brought back from final state F to initial state I without any loss of energy, without any loss of heat? So if we think of this, then we will get the answer. Our experience tells us that it is not possible. So reversible process is the one which, when takes place from initial state to final state, can be reversed back from final state to initial state without any loss of heat, without any loss, without any effect in any part of the universe. So such a process is called as reversible process, reversible thermodynamic process. But when we look at the spontaneous processes that take place in the nature, we'll come to know that almost all the processes that take place in the nature are irreversible. For example, when a chemical explosion takes place, when the explosion of a cracker takes place, sudden expansion of the gas takes place, sudden release of heat takes place. Can it be reversed back? It is not possible. Similarly, if you consider internal combustion engine like a 4-stroke engine or a bike engine or even a car engine, automobile engine, when a vapor of petrol mixes with air, and when the combustion of petrol mixed with air takes place with the help of spark plug, sudden expansion and sudden release of heat takes place, which leads to doing work on the movement of a piston. Can it be reversed back entirely? Which is not possible. So in this way, if you look at the spontaneous processes that take place in the nature, irreversibility is always observed. It cannot be brought back to initial state. I think you got the point. What is the meaning of irreversibility? One more example: diffusion of gas in the kitchen. Diffusion of cooking gas. Suppose there is a leakage of gas from the cylinder. So it will spread slowly throughout the room and throughout the home. Can it be reversed back so that the gas can be refilled inside the cylinder? Which is not possible. So irreversibility is the law of nature. Irreversibility is the rule of nature. That's what the second law of thermodynamics states. The second law of thermodynamics says about the same thing. Entire heat cannot be converted into work. Entire heat cannot be converted into work. There will be always some amount of heat lost to the surrounding. There will be always some amount of loss of heat. The main reason in this irreversible process is the dissipative forces, the dissipative energies. The energy that is lost to overcome the friction, the energy that is lost to overcome the viscosity. There are so many dissipative forces involved. So the work done against the dissipative forces will be always lost in the form of heat. So some amount of heat is always lost to the surroundings. Therefore, reversibility is a very, very ideal situation. So first we will define what is reversible process. Reversible. reversible and irreversible processes. Reversible process is a thermodynamic process which can be completely reversed to attain the initial state. It's a thermodynamic process which can be completely reversed to attain the initial state without any loss. A thermodynamic process is reversible if the process can be turned back such that the system and the surroundings return to their original states with no other effects or with no other changes anywhere else in the universe. If a state I, initial state I, changes to final state F, if there is initial state I reaches to final state F through a thermodynamic process, this can be turned back from final state F to initial state I without any change, without any effect in any part of the universe. Such a process is called as a thermodynamic process, that is reversible process. So thermodynamic process is a reversible if the process can be turned back such that the system and the surroundings return back to their original states with no other effects or changes taking place anywhere else in the universe. So such a process is called reversible process, and I can say this reversible process is a very ideal process which cannot take place in the nature at all. So if it is possible, then what kind of processes will be reversible processes? So a process can be reversible if there are no dissipative effects. No dissipative effects. No dissipative effects means there should not be any loss of energy in the form of heat. No loss of energy in the form of heat or sound or any other heat, sound, deformation, etc. So if you take any spontaneous process that take place in the nature, always there will be some amount of loss in the form of heat because of friction. So dissipative effects are mainly friction, viscosity or viscous force, then damage due to collision, deformation, etc. So whenever the work is done against friction, the work is done against viscosity, viscous force, some amount of energy is lost against such dissipative forces. So such losses are called as dissipative loss of energy, and the effects are called dissipative effects. If there are no such dissipative effects, then one can achieve reversible thermodynamic process. Second one is, it can be, a process can be reversible if it is quasi-static process. Quasi-static process. Quasi-static process means what? We need to understand the meaning of this term. Quasi-static process is the one which takes place infinitesimally slow pace, which takes place very, very slow. which takes place infinitely slow, very slow, such that it may be isothermal process or it may be any other thermodynamic process. If it takes place very slowly, such that at every moment there is a thermodynamic equilibrium existing between the system and the surroundings. So a process which takes place very slowly, such that at every stage, the system is in equilibrium with the surroundings. Such a process is called as quasi-static process. So when you think of such a process which can take place infinitely slow, very slow, such that at every stage the system is in equilibrium with the surroundings, then such a process is called quasi-static process. If a thermodynamic process is quasi-static in nature, then it can be a reversible process. So quasi-static process is again, it is a hypothetical process. It is a hypothetical idealized process. So it is hypothetical construct, means ideal one which cannot exist actually in the nature. So such a process is called thermodynamic reversible process. So almost all the processes that we notice in the nature are all irreversible thermodynamic process. So if it is a reversible process, then according to first law of thermodynamics, entire heat can be converted into work. Then the efficiency of that efficiency of that system becomes 100%. But we have studied yesterday second law of thermodynamics, which states that no heat engine in this nature can have 100% efficiency. Therefore, irreversibility is the law of nature. So we can conclude irreversibility is the rule of nature, which is concluded through the second law of thermodynamics. There is always some amount of loss of energy to the surroundings. So we cannot have a thermodynamic process which can take place without any change in the surroundings, any part of the nature. So therefore, irreversibility is the law of nature. Reversibility is a very what you say, you can say it is a idealized construct. It is a hypothetical construct. A quasi-static process can be reversible. Think of a cylinder fitted with a piston in which we have taken ideal gas. Ideal gas itself is an ideal one which never exists in the nature. Suppose we take ideal gas as a working substance in a cylinder fitted with a movable piston. If this ideal gas is allowed to expand isothermally at a very slow pace, then we can say that it is a reversible process. So I can give you example of reversible thermodynamic process, that is isothermal expansion and isothermal compression of an ideal gas taken in a movable taken in a cylinder provided with piston, which can take place very slow pace, so that the temperature of the ideal gas system with the surrounding is always constant. Temperature never changes. Such a process, we know that it is an isothermal process. So if an isothermal thermodynamic process takes place for an ideal gas as a working substance in a heat engine, which takes place infinitely slow pace, then we can ideally say that it is a thermodynamic reversible process. Otherwise, all the processes that we observe, that is combustion of the fuel in the combustion engine, internal combustion engine and external combustion engine like steam engine, it's always spontaneous and sudden expansion of the gases take place, hot gases take place, which cannot be reversed. Therefore, we get the reason why the efficiency of a heat engine can never be 100%. Efficiency of a heat engine can never be 100%. It is according to the law of nature, that is nothing but second law of thermodynamics. I think you got the meaning of what are reversible and irreversible processes. So all the processes that we observe in the nature are all irreversible processes. Okay. Now we shall solve some problems based on this topic. Okay, look at this simple problem. A steam engine delivers 5.4 into 10 raised to 8 joule of work. 5.8 into 10 raised to 8 joule of work per minute. Services 3.6 into 10 raised to 9 joule of work. Services 3.6 into 10 raised to 9 joule per minute from its boiler. What is the efficiency of the engine and how much energy is lost per minute? So here is the schematic representation of a heat engine. This is a steam engine. Okay, this is an example of a steam engine. So steam engine extracts heat Q1. It takes heat Q1 from the boiler and it services at 3.6. You see, the heat taken from the boiler is 3.6 into 10 raised to 9 joule per minute. Joule per minute. And it delivers work. Work is equal to 5.4 into 10 raised to 8 joule per minute. It is given per minute. Okay. Then you are asked to calculate what is the efficiency of the heat engine. So we know the efficiency. Of heat engine is given by the amount of the work output to the amount of heat extracted from the boiler. See, it takes the heat from the boiler. Q1 is the heat taken from the boiler and Q2 is the heat that is released to the surroundings. So we get Q1 is equal to W plus Q2. This is what we have learned yesterday. Q1 is equal to W plus Q2. So we define efficiency as the work output divided by heat input from the source, heat input from the boiler. So work output is given 3.6, 5.4 into 10 raised to 8. 5.4 into 10 raised to 8 divided by 3.6 into 10 raised to 9. So you can cancel here. 9 4s are 9 6s are, right? Or 18 2s are 18 3s are. 3 by 2 into 10 raised to minus 1. So if you work it out here, it becomes 10 raised to minus 1. That is about 1.5. It's going to be 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 1, that is 0.15. So the efficiency is 15%. So it comes out to be 0.15. So therefore efficiency is 15%. Now what is the loss of heat per minute? So loss of heat per minute can be calculated using this. Q2 is equal to Q1 minus W. Q2 is equal to Q1 minus W. Q1 is, you see, 3.6 into 10 raised to 9. 3.6 into 10 raised to 9 minus 5.4 into 10 raised to 8 joule per minute. So calculate this. So this comes out to be 36 into 10 raised to 8. So 36 minus 5.4. 36 minus 5.4. If you calculate this, 30.6. So it comes out to be 30.6 into 10 raised to 8. That is 3.06 into 10 to the power of 9 joule per minute. This is the loss of heat. Okay. Now in the next video we will solve some more problems based on this thermodynamics. Thank you. Have a nice day. Have a nice day.